Welcome my dear children. In today's session we are going to revise some of the important questions. Children, you know that soon after some time you will be having your final exams, and our portion is already completed, and you are going to have 3 chapters for your exam from bio section, which will include chapter number 5, that is cell, and chapter number 6, which is tissues, and chapter number 13, that is why do we fall ill. So all these 3 chapters are going to come in your exam. So let us revise all these 3 chapters one by one. In today's session I have selected some of the important questions of chapter number 13, that is why do we fall ill. So let us start discussing these questions. The first question is, which bacterium is responsible for peptic ulcer? So the answer is the bacterium called Helicobacter pylori is responsible for peptic ulcer. This particular bacterium is very important as it has a very important history, and it is also given as a separate topic in your textbook. So you need to pay attention towards this. The next question selected is, name the microbe that does not have its own biochemical mechanisms but depends upon that of the host cell. This is a very easy question, and this question can be framed in other language also. We all know that viruses are the microbes which does not have their own biochemical mechanism or machinery. They use host machinery to replicate themselves, to grow inside the host. So viruses is the microbe that does not have its own biochemical mechanisms but depends upon that of the host cell. What are the principles of treatment? So the answer is, the first one is reduce the effect of the disease. Second is kill the cause of the disease. This question can be asked in a lengthy form also. There you need to explain the answer in detail. Now very important question, that is, what is an antibiotic? Give 2 examples. So antibiotic is a chemical substance that kills bacteria secreted by microorganisms which can kill the pathogens. These are the chemicals which are secreted by microbes only, but these chemicals have the capability of killing the bacteria. That is why they are called as antibiotic, against the biotic or against the bacteria. So examples of antibiotics is penicillin, streptomycin, and there are multiple other examples. You can write any other example here. The next question is, what is an epidemic disease? Which organ is affected if a person is suffering from jaundice? Now children, now the first part of this question can be changed into pandemic also, because now we are suffering with a pandemic, so you all should be aware of what is pandemic. So you have to write the answer accordingly. If epidemic is asked, you have to write about epidemic. If pandemic is asked, you have to write about pandemic. Although pandemic is not given in your textbook, but you should know about it, so it can be asked in exam also. So let us discuss the answers of these questions. An epidemic is the rapid and extensive spread of disease that affects many individuals simultaneously in a particular area. It is generally an infectious disease. So this is about epidemic, when it is just located or it is just limited to particular area. But when a disease is spreading all over the world, then the disease will be called as pandemic. Now the answer of second question is, liver is affected in jaundice. So liver is the main organ which is affected in jaundice. Next question is, what is inflammation? Write the symptoms of this in body. So in human body, when there is an infection, an active immune system recruits many cells to the affected tissue to kill the disease causing microbes. This recruitment process is called inflammation. symptoms are swelling in that particular area, pain sensation in that particular area, and sometimes fever also. Now this is a big question. Let us focus on to the question first. In which of the following case do you think the long-term effect on your health are likely to be most unpleasant? In which of these conditions you can feel more unpleasant? The first condition is if you get jaundice. Second is if you get lice in your hair. The third is if you get acne on your skin, and why. So these are three conditions. Based on these different type of conditions, you have to give your answer. So let us discuss the answer now. Having lice or acne will not have long-term effect on the body, because these are, if lice is there, that is just a transfer or infection in your hair that can be removed very easily by various processes. And similarly, if you have acne are also called by sometimes by some bacterial infection, sometimes by some hormonal disbalance. So that can be for short time. It cannot last for your entire lifetime. So these are short-term diseases or short-term some abnormal condition in your body. But if you get jaundice, it will have drastic long-term effect, and you will show symptoms such as high temperature, headache and joint pains, loss of appetite with a feeling of nausea and vomiting, irritating rashes on the body, which will have prolonged general poor health, which require complete bed rest for earlier recovery. Jaundice is also short-term that infection, but if proper care is not taken during that infection, it can leave long-term effects on the body. It can cause so many damages to the body if proper care is not taken, if rest is not taken by the patient. So the effect of this particular disease can be worst. That is why it is very much required to take proper care of a person who is suffering with jaundice. Now one more question. What are the differences between a virus and a bacteria? This is a very common question. You all should be able to answer this question. So let us discuss the points here in a tabular form. So the first point in viruses is that they are very small, and in bacteria they are larger in size as compared to viruses, but they are single-celled only. In viruses there is no cell as such. There is no cellular organization in them. That is why they are called as non-cellular. Viruses are non-cellular, whereas in bacteria there is a cellular organization, so they are called as single-celled. In viruses there is no metabolism of their own. They do not have any metabolic machinery in them. They use host machinery for metabolism purpose, whereas in case of bacteria they have their own metabolism system. Viruses take no food by any method, and bacteria take food by absorption. Viruses do not grow and do not divide. Bacteria grow in size and divide to produce more bacteria. Viruses grow only inside the host. And the next point is viruses command the host cell to produce viruses. That is the main point here, that outside the host body viruses cannot multiply. Once they are inside the host body, they use host body machinery, and then they reproduce inside the host and make their multiple copies. And bacteria, they have reproduction, or they can reproduce themselves by their own. They have their own machinery for multiplication. Viruses can be crystallized, bacteria cannot be crystallized, and all type of viruses produce diseases in man, animals and in plants. And whereas in case of bacteria, some are harmless, some are very useful bacteria for us, and some causes disease in us. So bacteria are good and bad also, whereas in case of viruses, all the viruses cause certain type of diseases only, so they are always harmful.